I asked the question. Actually, I have to go back because I forgot what I asked. Some pollution for everyday agriculture and some possible effects that those pollutants have on the environment. You guys told me global warming with no effects. So those are some things that definitely affect it. Fertilizer, pollute the ground, so pollution of the groundwater. Gasoline, okay. CO2 emissions cause global warming. That's a good one. Hairspray ruins the atmosphere. Yep, the ozone layer, right? We'll talk a little bit about that today. Fertilizers, runoff, I like that. Chemical acid, rain, for sure. Not X-Men and Godzilla, but definitely decreasing wildlife, smog, air pollution, car, land, air, and water. Turtle, okay, I think, what is it? Minus equal E less than turtle. Okay, what? It's got its legs. And if that looks like a turtle to you, you and I have grown up in very different places. No. Oh, okay, that's why I didn't get it. Okay. I didn't know my duty. Fertilizer, smog, yay, okay, you got a bunch of bad stuff. Perfect. So today we're going to look at how humans and the environment are connected. We'll start that discussion today. We'll talk about the differences between renewable resources and non-renewable resources. And you guys probably already know quite a few of those. And we'll look at the state of the environment and how it affects a person's health and quality of life. So humans now live in almost every kind of ecosystem on Earth. Even in Antarctica, we have a steel container that's insulated and people live there, right? Well, kind of. They stay there for a few weeks at a time. As human populations increase, the impact of humans on the environment is also increasing. Michigan's no stranger to that. We used to be a giant forest. Now we are, well, a mixture of forests, flat lands where we now farm our fields, and neighborhoods, right? So humans are part of the environment and can affect the resilience of the environment. And we talked about resiliency being linked back to biodiversity, and that's what we're talking about here. Now, the more that the human population grows, the more resources from the environment that we will need to survive. Now, Earth is an interconnected planet. We depend on the environment, and the environment is affected by our actions. Now, learning about this connectedness helps us care for the environment and ensure that the environment will continue to support us and other species on Earth. So real quick, just tell me one thing that you rely on a daily basis from your environment. I don't care what it is. List it. Food, water, water, food, food, water. Water and food, air, for sure. Trees. So I see a lot of food, water, air, trees, for sure. And so you should see soil, right? So kind of the one missing thing I was looking for was soil, the land, right? We need land. Air, water, and soil. Basically, with those things alone and everything that's in them, we can exist. Oh, that's blurry. So we talked about earlier in the year how the human population is growing. And this is kind of a deceiving graph because it kind of looks logistic here, but we know that the human population is not growing logistically. We know it's growing exponentially, right? And so it's estimated that by the year, I believe that's 2016, we're going to get up above 8 billion people, which is a little scary, really. Does it say 2026? Yeah. Heck, we're going to be way above that. Some people think that we're going to be up to even 10 billion by then. If I asked you, though, to draw out, let me just do this. If I asked you to draw the human growth population on a curved graph, what would you show me? We started off at negative. How'd we do that? I'm just kidding. I got it. That's good right there. That's kind of. So very good. I'm seeing a lot of exponential growth. Oh, that's a little too logistic for me. No, not this. This would be logistic, right? Okay. Oh, this is assuming we're just gonna get hit by a meteor right about here, right? Okay. Oh dear. Oh, after Ebola. Oh, too soon. Okay, you get the idea. So that is that J-shaped exponential curve. Now, Earth's resources are described as renewable or non-renewable. Either we can use them at a rate at which we can replace them, or we use them at a rate we cannot replace them. So renewable resources are natural resources that can be replaced at the same rate at which they are consumed. A renewable resource supply is either so large or so constantly renewed that it will never be used up. However, a resource can be renewable but still be used up if it is used at a faster rate than what it can be renewed. I would like you to give me an example of a renewable resource. A renewable resource. Trees. Depends on how you use the trees, right? We'll talk about that. Wind, water, air. You mean wind, kind of? Okay. Sun, wind. Yes, water for sure. Now here's the thing with water is a tricky one, isn't it? If I said fresh water and clean water, like potable water, water you can drink, I'm talking about two very different things. So can you use your water up at a rate at which you can't replace it sometimes? Yeah, so water is one of those things, it is renewable, but depending on how you use it, it might not be. Trees are like that too. We all have paper in front of us. That came from a renewable popple tree, more than likely, okay? And we're able to renew trees because we can grow more of them, but only if we use them at a rate at which we can replace them. So trees are one of those things that are renewable as long as you use them appropriately. Why is fossil fuel not able to be called ever a renewable resource? Oops. Why can I never call a fossil fuel a renewable resource? I can say trees are, I can say wind is, I can say water is, I can say sun is. Why can fossil fuels not be a renewable resource? Let's get our answers in 5, 4. Let's get our answers in 3. Not answering is not an option, folks. I will call you out individually if you decide to not participate. I don't look you up unless you're not doing what I ask. Then I look you up. I don't care what you type in. Just type something in. Nobody knows who anybody is. Be wrong. It's okay. Why can fossil fuels not be renewable? I'm waiting for 5 more people. You guys, I'm asking just for your gut instinct. Doesn't even matter what it is. Sometimes the wrong ones are the fun ones, right? Two more. I'll turn the Jeopardy song on and we will all wait. There's 31 of you. Come on now. I'll look that one up later. But I am going to look it up. So there we go. There we go. You guys, I can't wait that long for responses. So literally, if you're wrong, that's fine. We're here to learn. Be wrong, and let's get your answer in. Okay, because you can't replace it as fast as you use it. That's a simple, straightforward answer. Yep. Let's see if there's anything different. No more fossils. There's lots of fossils. They're not inexhaustible, we'll say. Takes millions of years, right? Takes too long. Because they are fuel. It never replenishes. So it does replenish, just takes a long time. Yeah, okay. Millions of years. Long time to make, create. Perfect. I'm looking for different answers. So, plus it pollutes, right? That's another thing. It's not sustainable as far as what it does, the results of it. So yeah, like it takes millions of years. If I could wait a million years for a gallon of gas, sure, we could use it at a renewable rate, but that's not even real. That's not feasible. I will tell you, back in the 50s and even up to the 70s, they thought it was an inexhaustible resource that we would never ever be able to use all of it up. Boy, were we wrong. That's what the scientists, the leading scientists, that's what they all thought. Need me to go back? Back in time like a fossil fuel? Okay. And moving forward. So non-renewable resources are those that form at a rate that is too slow, or much slower, than the rate at which they are consumed. Most of our energy today comes from fossil fuels. I'm hoping in like 5 years I don't say that anymore. But most of our energy today comes from these, and fossil fuels are non-renewable resources that form from the remains of organisms that lived long ago. Where do we fight all our wars at? In the middle of a desert, right? Let's think about that place real quick. So there was this time period in the history of geology. You guys remember what it was that made all of our fossil fuels? I'm really drawing from your Earth content here. It's actually named after the carbon-based fuel that we used from that time period. It's called the Carboniferous period. You guys remember that, maybe? Okay. 8th grade, probably, Earth science. So let's just stay on Earth science for a minute here. In the Carboniferous period, that area of the planet was a giant jungle. That's where plant life took over the whole, basically, supercontinent we were on. So in the Carboniferous period, all this plant life was here, and then we had a mass extinction of that plant life, and all of it got buried, okay? And it got turned into fossil fuels. It's really kind of ironic because you go there now, it's a giant desert, and there's like nothing there, right? I mean, they don't have water, very little food. That's why they fight all those wars. They say it's over religion. That's a bunch of hokey pokey. It's because they aren't full, right? Their neighbor's got a cheeseburger and they don't. They're gonna go take it. That neighbor's got fresh water and not cholera. We have cholera and no fresh water. We're gonna go take it, right? And so you end up in all these like wars over there. But in the past of the history of Earth, that used to be the most biodiverse area of the planet, which is really kind of weird when you think about it. For me anyway, because I always think of it as just this nasty, desolate place. But really, at one time, it was the most plant life on the planet was there. That's why we have fossil fuels. So fossil fuels such as coal, oil, and natural gas are non-renewable resources because it takes millions of years for them to form. And we use fossil fuels at a rate that is much faster than at the rate at which they form. So when these resources are gone, millions of years will pass before more have formed. I cannot wait for a rainforest to become extinct and buried for 1 million years to get more gas. We need to probably change our energy route. We're in the middle of doing that, right? It's just kind of the wheels are moving pretty slow right now. We use coal primarily for that right now, although we are starting to use more wind, solar, and water. I like solar and wind the best because they don't require you to disrupt the habitat of like a fish, or because fish migrate up streams and rivers. So like in Colorado, even in Michigan, they're starting to remove all the dams to allow fish to their natural migration again. So, but we aren't there yet. I think someday we will be, and we'll have a nice, clean planet, probably 20, 30 years from now. I just hope it's soon enough, right? That's all I hope. So our healthy and quality of life are affected by the state of the environment. That makes sense. We live here. It's our habitat. It's our ecosystem. It's our food. So pollution and habitat destruction destroy the resources we need to live, such as air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we eat. What's really ironic in our country is we allow people to lobby our politicians to make laws against our air, soil, and water quality, and these people don't even live in our country. But we allow them to lobby our politicians. That doesn't make any sense. But that's what we do. It is with most things. Yep. Well, we know. I mean, if you do your homework, you know. Like they have to publicly tell us if they're being lobbied by certain groups. So, like big oil's one. But the thing they don't tell you is like the oil cartel and other countries are the ones that are influencing our own oil prices and laws. So, it's really kind of screwy when you think about it because it's directly affecting our environment. And we're talking about a lot of countries that don't care about pollution. Okay. Or not that they don't care, but they're very polluted themselves, we'll say. So humans are part of the environment. We know it can affect the resilience of the environment. And today is just about starting that conversation, so to speak. Now, renewable resources are natural resources that can be replaced at the same rate at which they are consumed. And non-renewable resources are those that form at a rate that is much slower than the rate at which they are consumed. And pollution and habitat destruction destroy the resources we need to live, like the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we eat. And I always tell people, and I'm usually pretty blunt about it, as I say, I'm not like some hippie, screaming at the top of my lungs that we should be hugging a tree or anything. But what we should be doing is caring about our health, even if it's just as egocentric as us caring about our own health. Okay, other than the environment, we should care about things like renewable and non-renewable resources because they do affect our health in the end and our ability to not become extinct the long term. And when I mean long term, not too far off, right? Within the next 100 years. So, all right, you guys. I try not to be too doom and gloomy there, but really, you guys are going to be voting in like 2 years, right? Most of you, 2.5 years. Okay, and so hopefully you guys are thinking about environmental issues when you vote. And I don't care who you vote for, but just whoever you vote for, kind of ask them maybe, what are you doing to protect our resources, especially in Michigan. We're surrounded by a lot of water, right? Pretty important that we don't have people in place making rules about water that aren't from Michigan, and that happens quite often.